From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Melinda Akilami.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, the NNPP candidate in the 2023 presidential election, Mr. Rabiu Kwankwaso, calls for more effective action to curb the spate of kidnappings and killings in the country. Says the situation must not be taken as normal. The death toll in Thursday's attack in some communities in Kogi State rises to 25. Governor Usman Ododo condemns the violence, attributes it to communal clashes. At least one person killed and another missing following a flash flood which ravaged Nguroje community in Saudana local government area of Taraba State. And thousands evacuated in a region of southwestern Russia following devastating floods worsened by a dam burst. Ransom and killings in parts of the country continue to generate outrage. But for former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Kwankwaso, the situation is becoming a norm. The founding member of the New Nigeria People's Party is calling for more action and urging the federal government to make the protection of lives and properties a top priority. The party leader expressed his concern while speaking at the party's national convention in the nation's capital, Abuja.
It's the national convention of the New Nigeria People's Party, and the event is bringing together party faithful from the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. After key deliberations, the amended constitution of the party was adopted.
National Auditor.
Names of new executives who will be overseeing the affairs of the party for some time were then railed out.
Galvanize them into achieving
This is then followed by speeches.
I deeply believe that today will mark the beginning of the real change in our march to confront the quagmire of political, economic, and social challenges of our country. These are challenges that are not inevitable. They are challenges that are imposed on us, imposed on the country, on the common people of our society, occasion
violence. Let us all continue to reach out and mobilize more members to join our front.
The national leader of the party then makes his speech. He reminds the federal government of their responsibility towards securing lives and property.
So many people have been chased out of their homes. So many are being killed. Some are in the bushes now, in the forest, under the care of bandits and other criminals. And it looks like many people don't care. It is even becoming a normal thing to go and beat people in their homes, on the roads, in the markets, and so on. I believe it is only in this country that this sort of nonsense is happening.
As education forms the major thrust of the party's vision, they call on governments at all levels to make education the right of all Nigerians.
Staying with party politics and ahead of next week's National Executive Council meeting of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, some stakeholders are calling on the leadership to replace the suspended national chairman, Mr. Iyorchia Ayu, with someone from his state. They are asking the party to uphold Section 27, subsection 6 of the party's constitution and adopt former governor, Mr. Gabriel Suswan, to complete Mr. Ayu's tenure. The concerned PDP leaders, led by former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Professor Nicholas Ada, made this known at an endorsement meeting in Makurdi, the Benue State capital.
The expression of interest by Senator Suswan to occupy the seat of the chairman of our great party is predicated by the provision of the constitution of our great party, the People's Democratic Party, and above all, it is in line with the precedents set by previous decisions of the leadership of the party, the People's Democratic Party, to retain party positions in the same zones as they become vacant. For avoidance of doubt, party faithfuls, Section 47, subsection 6 of 2017 Constitution of the People's Democratic Party as amended states, and I quote, "Where a vacuum occurs in any of the offices of the party, the executive committee at appropriate level shall appoint another person from the area, with emphasis, from the area or the zone where the officer originated from." So it is not strange that we are here to endorse our son.
In Kogi State, the death toll in the recent attacks on 3 communities in Omala local government area has risen to 25 from 19, and that's according to one of the community leaders. Mr. Elias Atabo told our correspondent that the victims include 4 children and 21 adults, with 9 others currently in hospital. The attack, which occurred on Thursday, is said to be the second in less than 3 months, with many of the villagers said to still be missing. Meanwhile, Governor Usman Ododo has expressed shock over the deadly attacks, which his special advisor on media has attributed to communal clashes. In a statement, the governor regretted the ugly dimension that the communal clashes between people have assumed over time, promising immediate intervention to prevent a recurrence of the situation. While commiserating with families of those affected, the governor promised support for those injured and others whose houses were destroyed, and assured the people that the perpetrators of the act will be brought to justice. Meanwhile, the Niger State government says it's engaging relevant security agencies to ensure the release of over 40 people who were kidnapped after the Madaka community in Rafi local government area was attacked 2 weeks ago. The Deputy Governor, Yakubu Gaba, stated this during a condolence visit to the community in continuation of his tour of troubled communities in the state.
For over 2.5 hours, we rode on this armored personal carrier from Kagara to Madaka, an indication of the volatility and insecurity around the general forest area of Madaka and Rafin Kwakwa, located in the eastern part of Niger State. For the people of Madaka community, Thursday, 21st March, dawned with an attack of armed men, leaving over 30 people killed, several others abducted, and with traces of their attack on the market square and the only healthcare facility. Amina Isa is a 5-year-old. She survived the attack with a bullet wound to her leg after she was abducted, yet miraculously found her way home. Her grandmother, Fati Jankada, said these 4 girls were recovered from the fringes of the forest.
For God's sake, imagine these little children bundled and carted away like animals. I can't count the number of people that were killed.
Abubakar Madaka, a petty trader, said for over 4 years the community has been under frequent attack, but admits this recent attack happens to be the worst.
We in remote areas need help. This is how we live. 3 to 4 years struggling. For close to 3 years now, we live in the bush in hunger, day after day. We seek the help of government to come to our aid.
This visit by the Deputy Governor of Niger State, Yakubu Garba, is to commiserate with the affected persons in Madaka. Speaking to newsmen shortly after a tour of affected facilities, he said the government is committed to a peaceful return of abductees.
The assessment so far I have done, it is heart-touching, seeing devastating effect of infrastructure carried by these bandits or terrorists. It is unfortunate that this is a wicked of man to man. And as a government, we will do everything humanly possible to ensure that actually the reoccurrence of this madness did not happen again in Madaka community. I have a little closed-door meeting with the vigilante. I have given them the marching order. They should not just step back for defensive. They must take offensive action against this bandit until those people in captivity are released. And I'm assuring you, by the grace of God, they will do everything humanly possible with the help of our conventional security men who are leading. They will actually bring them back. Our prayers, they should bring them back safely.
These people will continue to look to government to address the security situation, even as they wait for the return of those abducted.
Staying with security matters, Governor Alex Ochi of Abia State is warning criminals to stay away from the state or be ready to face the full wrath of the law. Governor Ochi gave the warning during the monthly media parley at the Government House in Wahia, where he narrated how the leader of the gang that kidnapped the Abia State University Deputy Vice Chancellor was arrested in Lagos on his way to Turkey.
The government has been very proactive, procuring all the necessary equipment. Security is very expensive, and all the things we've done in and around the state is all about security. It's so much so that even when one of us, an academic, was kidnapped some months ago, we located him somewhere in Imo State. We were going to strike, but we felt that if we struck, we may lose him or harm him. And eventually, after they had held him for about 11 days and released him, the leader of the gang was on his way to Turkey. And we picked him up in Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. And we flew him back into Abia State. The second mastermind of that dastardly act, we picked him up in Port Harcourt and brought him here. So some of them think that we are magicians. We are not magicians. We don't practice witchcraft. But if you commit a crime, yeah, we'll get you. The issue of security is topmost on the agenda of government.
In part two, after the break, President Tinubu
beauty deodorant with natural pearl extracts and avocado oils for soft, smooth, and beautiful underarms. The perfect balance of 48-hour protection and care with delicate fragrances. Feel the power of pearls. Nivea Pearl and Beauty for soft, smooth, and beautiful underarms. Try our new Pearl and Beauty Black Pearl for smooth and perfumed underarms.
Do you know that you can now print all your essential items for events without even having to leave your home? It's the Cash Print Combo Deal for all events.
Yes!
Weddings, conferences, birthdays, burials, etc. Starting from 495,000 Naira only. You get 50 invites, 50 A2 size posters, 50 16-page brochures, 1 large backdrop banner, 1 roll-up banner, 50 jotters with pens, and 50 souvenir carrier bags. Whatever event you're planning, we can adjust to your budget and quantities. Just send your pictures and other information through WhatsApp, and we shall send a design for your approval. Approve your design, and we will produce with super high-quality digital print technology. We can even arrange delivery to your location. Call us now on 0913-156-5016 or 0812-794-9323 or visit our social media pages. Cast Prints, digital printing at super speed.
The Duchess International Hospital caters to every aspect of a family's health needs. A one-stop shop for maternity and child health services, emergency medicine and critical care, medical and surgical subspecialties, dental and eye care, and a range of other subspecialties and services, all available at a single location right here in the heart of Ikeja. And it really doesn't matter if you're paying out of pocket using your HMO or private insurance. We focus completely on providing that world-class affordable healthcare for all the family at all times.
Communal clashes. At least one person killed and another missing following a flash flood which ravaged Nguroye community in Saldana local government area of Taraba state. And thousands evacuated in the region of southwestern Russia following devastating floods worsened by a dam burst. Amid the raging conflict in various parts of the world, the president has made a strong case for global peace and stability, especially in Africa and other troubled spots. President Bola Tinubu was addressing members of the diplomatic corps and heads of international organizations during the breaking of the fast at the State House Abuja, emphasized the values of tolerance and perseverance as key in fostering peace and stability worldwide. He urged the envoy to convey his message of peace to their respective countries.
I appreciate your coming and sharing it with us. But let us, in our heart, care for the needy. Care for those who have not. And together, we can promote peace and stability across the world. We can teach the message if we believe in it. It is a joy that you share the evening, and the memory of it is what we need to extend to your various countries. That stability is here, peace is here, and we should all join together to promote peace across the world. There will be no economic prosperity without peace and stability.
Meanwhile, the president is scheduled to leave Abuja, the nation's capital, for Lagos tomorrow, Sunday, ahead of Eid al-Fitr. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Mr. Ajuri Ngelali, made this known in a statement. He explained that in line with the solemn occasion, which marks the end of Ramadan, the president will observe the moment in prayers for Nigeria and with family, and will continue his official duties during and after the Eid al-Fitr holidays. The governor of Jigawa State, Umar Namadi, has suspended the Commissioner for Commerce, Alhaji Aminu Kanta, following allegations of mismanagement of funds allocated for the iftar feeding program. In a statement, the secretary to the state government, Malam Bala Ibrahim, explained that the suspension was a critical step taken by the government to ensure transparency and integrity. The government says it will investigate the allegations of financial impropriety thoroughly. The iftar feeding program, which is aimed at providing meals during the Ramadan across 27 local government areas of the state, received an allocation of 2.8 billion naira from the State Executive Council. In Taraba State, at least one person is said to have been killed and another missing following a flood disaster which ravaged Nguroye community in Saudana local government area. The incident occurred following a heavy downpour which lasted for hours, rendering many homeless and destroying farmlands. The Taraba State House of Assembly member representing Nguroye constituency, Mr. Nelson Lenz, told Channels Television that the disaster is the first of its kind in the area. He said the construction of waterway channels has commenced to avert a recurrence, and relief materials have been sent to the victims to cushion their hardship, while a search is ongoing for the missing person. Those affected by the Gombe state government's erosion control project are receiving compensation. In November last year, the government signed a 12 billion naira gully erosion control project spanning 21 kilometers in various communities through a World Bank-assisted project. Governor Inuwa Yahaya handed out the resettlement package checks to the affected persons during an event that took place in the community.
Described as the gully erosion capital of the Northeast, Gombe State has struggled with decades of ecological issues that have displaced communities and threatened lives. Committed to protecting lives and property in the area of environmental sustainability, the state government has initiated several programs, such as its 3G project, Gombe Goes Green, launched in 2019, aimed at combating desertification, deforestation, and soil erosion through annual tree planting campaigns. Several other projects have also been ongoing since 2019 in partnership with foreign development partners, all in line with its 10-year development plan. One of such projects is a 21-kilometer gully erosion control from FCE to railway quarters in Gombe local government area. It is being executed in collaboration with World Bank Akeredolu project. 343 people are threatened by the danger of flooding and have been asked to relocate to safer environment as the project takes shape. But they are not leaving empty-handed. The crowd welcomes Governor Inuwa Yahaya as he arrives to present checks totaling 389.7 million naira to the affected persons.
Our administration recognizes the impact this project has on the lives and livelihoods of our people. And it is our duty to ensure that those affected are adequately compensated in order to enable them to relocate with ease. In this regard, a total of 389,740,114 naira is earmarked for the payment of compensation to the project-affected persons.
He also reiterates the commitment of his government to tackle ecological issues in the state.
And we are committed to addressing other gully erosion sites through partnerships with Akeredolu and other stakeholders. Today's event demonstrates our dual commitment to protect our environment and safeguard the livelihoods of those directly affected by the project.
Residents describe the gesture as timely.
Today I am happy for this presentation to Your Excellency. I am happy today. I'm happy today. I'm very much happy. What they give us is very sufficient for us to renovate our houses. It is very good, and we thank the executive government of Gombe State for its effort and remarkable work that is doing for Gombe State.
As work on the Galiu corridor's erosion sites continue, Gombe State government says it will continue to protect lives and property from adverse environmental hazards.
The Federal Ministry of Environment and the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, have handed over a center aimed at reducing the degradation of the environment in Lagos. It's the first leg of the Hydro Phase-Out Management Plan, which is the handover of the refrigeration and air conditioning servicing equipment and tools to the first batch of training centers in Nigeria.
I therefore commission to the glory of Almighty God and the benefits of man everywhere.
The handover of this refrigeration and air conditioning services equipment and tool center is a combined effort of the federal government and the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP.
This is an HFC2, but with lower global warming potential.
First to address the gathering is the Minister of State for Environment, Dr. Isiaq Salako, and he gives an insight into the aim of the project.
The end point of this project is to completely eliminate 210 baseline consumption of 344.9 tons of HCFC by 2040.
After the minister's speech, officials of the United Nations Development Programme also outlined the benefits accruable to the country.
We believe the beneficiaries will be empowered to enhance production facilities, thereby strengthening national capacities for the local manufacture of hydrocarbon-based alternative refrigerants.
The objective of this project is to make sure that they use gases that are less depleting.
The beneficiary organization says opening of the center will provide Nigerians with needed skills in the air conditioning and refrigeration industry.
What UNDP have done through the Ministry of Environment will help us to raise a workforce that are skilled, that are knowledgeable, that are conscious of best practice.
Some who had received training were also recognized and presented with certificates. Partners say the coming on stream of this center is a fallout of the Montreal Protocol on climate change, which encourages less use of harmful substances.
What the federal government has just done is to provide the enabling environment to also disseminate the best practices and also now showcase some of those centers.
For us as UN bodies, we will continue to support the country. So yes, it's the onus is on the government to continue the initiatives.
The federal government and United Nations have trained participants in 32 centers across the country, and it's hoped that the result of the training adds to the replenishment of the Earth's ozone layer.
The federal government, through the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, plans to launch an upgraded national identity card with payment functionality for all types of social and financial services. A statement by the agency's head of corporate communications, Mr. Akeredolu Adegoke, explains that the new card will be made in collaboration with the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System and will be powered by Afrigo, a national domestic card scheme. Providing additional details about the card, NIMC says the innovation will address the demand for physical identification, enabling cardholders prove their identity and access government and private social services. This is in addition to facilitating financial inclusion for the enfranchised Nigerians, empowering citizens, as well as encouraging more participation in nation building. Still ahead on the news at 10. Horizon Capital Africa describes federal government's reforms as exemplary to other African economies. Gives positive outlook for 2024 on strengthening Naira and higher oil prices. That's on Business News. Do join us today.
Big tech wasn't really here. What have they seen in the past 10 years, which is making all of them want to put their HQ here?
If you're a business that sees itself going global, we'll definitely need some sort of like boost. We need to tap into those existing networks that these big tech companies do provide.
Is there a downside to big investment in Africa? Okay. It's a tricky question.
We want to be like Amazon, we want to be like Google. Like, this is not, we are not looking to sort of be just another player.
For me, big tech is something highly controversial. I see the value of it, but I also see that Africans should stop playing second fiddle to some of these organizations and have the confidence to start building our own technology.
We've seen how we are using the limited resources we have to solve real problems. They've seen indigenous tech startups achieving things that took them years to figure out.
Eight local government areas came out today to cast their vote in the local government election. The voters who expressed excitement on the conduct of the poll described it as peaceful. Speaking after casting his vote, Governor Oyediri also expressed satisfaction with the exercise. The last local government election in Bayelsa State was held in 2019.
The staff of Bayelsa State Independent Electoral Commission, BISEC, arrived at the designated polling areas early. Turnout for the election was quite impressive, as only candidates of the People's Democratic Party were seen canvassing for votes in the build-up to the exercise. On its part, the All Progressives Congress, APC, pulled out of the process, while other political parties were noticeably silent. Speaking after casting his vote at Kalamawari, Ward 6, Unit 3 in Sample Community in Kolokoma-Opokoma local government area, Bayelsa State, Governor Oyediri described the exercise as peaceful.
We have candidates in all of our wards, 105 wards, and we have candidates in all the local government areas, 8 local government areas. And so, by the grace of God, elections are not things that you say 1 + 1 is 2. Because at the end of the day, we know we have the support of the people. Judging by the outcome of the 2023 governorship elections, PDP will still take an upper hand in these elections.
He used the opportunity to react to the decision of the main opposition party to boycott the election.
In Bayelsa today, we have a Rotimi Pre-Silver APC, led by one Otiocho. And you also have the other APC that have never seen and believed in the Rotimi Pre-Silver Otiocho-led APC. And this election was boycotted by the Rotimi Pre-Silver and Otiocho-led APC. So whatever they define and describe as irregularity is best known to them. I don't know.
At the other polling units visited, residents of the area exercised their franchise and later shared their thoughts on the election.
Kudos to BISEC. They've done well by my assessment. They've been able to mobilize here early. And so far so good. It has been peaceful. Even security-wise, there has been no issue. Everybody has been very civil.
Everybody is interested, they're excited that the government of the day is conducting local government elections so that I can have statutory government at the local government level. So I've just voted, and it's an exciting period. I'm also excited.
The elderly were not left out, as they also came out to exercise their franchise.
So we want to thank God for the peaceful atmosphere today, and we know that by the grace of God, everything shall be peaceful, and our local government and our state, Bayelsa State, shall be a standing example of what elections should be in various areas.
This local government election in Bayelsa State is taking place a year and 8 months after the expiration of term of the last elected chairman and councillors whose tenure expired on the 10th of August 2022, with members of the caretaker committees appointed by the state government supervising the council areas since then.
15 new communities, including those ravaged by Boko Haram insurgency in Yobe State, can now enjoy electricity as they have been connected to the national grid after years of conflict. The General Manager of the Rural Electrification Board in the state, Mr. Mustafa Guniri, says the aim is to reduce rural to urban migration as well as create more jobs for the people.
Rapid rural-urban migration comes with increased burden on existing social amenities such as clean water, hospitals, schools, mobile networks, and electricity distribution. The latter formed a major part of the campaigns leading up to the re-election of Yobe State Governor Mai Mala Buni, who is now matching words with action with the connection of over 50 communities to the national grid.
We have rehabilitated and reactivated 50-kilometer Katarko Goneri 33 cable line, which is completed now. Then we were able to extend or electrify all the villages along that line.
During the insurgency period, a lot of these communities were sacked from their various places. Most of the lines have collapsed and the transformers were vandalized. And now with the relative calmness, the government wanted those people to go back to their communities. And without electricity, it will be difficult for them to go about their normal activities, especially the economic side, the social side, etc. So that is why the government gave directives for all those communities to have their electricity restored.
These mostly commercial communities once enjoyed electricity but were cut off during the era of the Boko Haram insurgency. One of the worst hit towns is Goniri, where the reconnection progress is now at 50%. This Yobe resident commends the government for its work.
Rural electrification has been one of the priority of administration of His Excellency, and I can assure you that he has done quite well, especially in electrifying villages and communities across Yobe State, not only those ravaged by insurgency. We have made a special focus in making sure that those communities, especially those resettlement communities, are being connected to the national grid. They are being empowered with all things that needs to be done in terms of uplifting the lives and living of the people.
Residents are equally optimistic that the connection of other communities to the national grid will boost small-scale businesses across the state.
Staying in Yobe State as part of the response to the recent diphtheria and meningitis outbreak there, the World Health Organization has handed over assorted medical supplies to the state government. The items were received at the Yobe State University Teaching Hospital by the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Lawan Ghana.
These items that have been donated by the World Health Organization, who are partner organizations to the state government in the healthcare system, will definitely support the state in controlling the outbreaks. We have been working together with WHO right from the beginning. We cited the Emergency Operations Center in Portiscombe, which is the epicenter of the meningitis outbreak. So as it is, for the last 1 month, we have been there together working assiduously towards the control of the outbreak.
Education appears to be receiving more attention in Adamawa State, where Governor Umar Fintiri is challenging the reconstituted governing board of the Adamawa State University to transform the institution into one of the top 10 universities in the world. According to the governor, some of the education reforms and infrastructure development embarked upon in the state are already yielding results. He said this while inaugurating the board in the state capital, Yola.
It's the formal inauguration of the reconstituted governing board of the Adamawa State University, Mobi, headed by Professor Maxwell Gidado, who serves as the chairman, pro-chancellor, and 4 other members. Governor Umar Fintiri is confident that the new board will deliver on its mandate to ensure provision of quality education, which he believes is a tool that can be used to reduce poverty levels, fight insecurity, and promote self-esteem.
The decision to make education a top priority is a deliberate one. It is the most potent weapon to subdue all the vices and guarantee the future and safety of our society. Education is a tool of empowerment against poverty and the greatest arsenal against insecurity. It is the key that unlocks prosperity and the engine that powers self-esteem.
We assure you, Your Excellency,
the chairman of the board takes the lead in speaking on behalf of his members to give assurances on delivery of its mandate and rewrite the next chapter of development and excellence for the Adamawa State University.
We are fully committed to upholding the integrity, vision, and mission of ADSU, and to working tirelessly to advance the university's academic excellence, research endeavors, and community engagement towards making the university a first-class university in the nation.
Meanwhile, the Commissioner for Education and Human Development, Garba Pella, emphasizes the importance the government places on education as a foundation for development.
So the expectation is that with this charge given to the Governing Council, we are going to have a university in Adamawa State which is going to be a destination of first choice for even students outside the state, not to talk of our own students in Adamawa State.
While Professor Maxwell Gidado leads the team, others appointed include Aliu Mohamed Gabdo, Vaidon Jaule, Ali Damburam, and Hapsat Jimeta.
From education to agricultural development in Taraba State, where the government has commenced the enrollment of farmers into its database for effective distribution of inputs to boost food production and enhance security of lives and property. The exercise is expected to cover all farmers and crop in the 16 local government areas, as well as the 168 wards in the state.
Agriculture is one of the largest employers of labor in Nigeria, which helps to boost internally generated revenue and enhances growth and development. In Taraba State, northeast Nigeria, this sector alone employs over 65% of its population, and government is taking proactive steps to address food shortage and soaring prices of food by collating the data of all farmers in the state. It's the turn of farmers from the 11 wards of Jalingo local government area who wait in line to be captured. The data will assist the government boost agricultural production through training and inputs distribution.
When you came in here, you will not waste time. They will capture you. They do all the necessary things for you without any stress. So, in fact, I'm very impressed. This thing has never happened before, and we pray that government will do something that people will really appreciate the government of the day.
This is a very good intervention, let me say, because as farmers, we have been suffering. Sometimes the mechanism to use in the farm is difficult. Like last year, I suffered a lot. The chemicals I bought, they failed because we applied at the wrong time when there was no rain. So I had to resort to manual working. So this intervention, if the government will really do it, I think it will help a lot.
Registration will also determine government's policies, inputs, and other interventions like access to loans in case of flooding or crisis.
After the capture, they should be expecting tailor-made policies. They should be expecting inputs from the government that will meet their specific needs in their various local government areas. For Jalingo, we are rounding up tomorrow. They will move to other local governments from Monday. So moving from local government to local government until the 16 local government is being wrapped. Now we are trying to do it between the time frame between now and towards the ending of May. We should be able to round up this exercise.
The government insists there is no limitation to crops, size of farmlands, or livestock.
Farmers could access some of these resources, but also like credits. They can also access trainings and other resources from the government of Abuke first. And that is what prompted him to go into this data capturing for the farmers. If you go for capturing, they ask you all these types of crops you are farming. They ask for maize, are you for maize? Any crop you are doing, plus any other one like livestock. If you are rearing livestock, you are also being asked. You give them the whole information. Even the heritage of your land you are cultivating, whether it is a commercial farming or you are doing a group farming or anything, but they are considering they will ask all these questions. You ask them, you answer them the way it's supposed to be. Not that we are capturing specific farmers. Even the peasant farmers from the villages that are going to be covered all.
However, some residents are urging the state government to properly do thorough background checks to ensure those being registered are genuine farmers.
Time now for some business stories. Laddie Williams has details.
Thank you, Melinda. Well, in business news, the recent policy reforms made by the federal government are changing global perceptions in Africa and exemplary to their economies. And that's according to a unit of the Russian investment bank Renaissance Capital Africa. In its 2024 economic report, RenCap Africa mentioned that the monetary decisions carried out by the country's central bank, such as recent interest rate hikes, have created a natural flow of US dollars to Nigeria that makes it easier to repay maturing bonds. RenCap explains that Nigeria is reforming along with other countries like Egypt and Kenya, adding that the monetary policies undertaken by these countries send a positive message about Africa's ability to manage global interest rates and attract foreign investors. The company also gave a positive outlook for Nigeria on the back of continuous strengthening of the Naira and a steady rise in oil prices. Meanwhile, RenCap says it expects a flurry of foreign investment inflows into Nigeria's equities market on the back of the cheapest valuations in 2 decades. And to consumer protection matters now, Lagos State government has directed supermarkets and grocery stores within the state to display price tags on all products, warning that failure to comply result in the sealing of non-compliant establishments. The warning was issued today by the Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency as a measure to enhance transparency and safeguard consumers from potential price exploitation, as contained in a statement retrieved from the Lagos State government's official website. A statement from the General Manager of LASCOPA, Mr. Folabi Sholebo, emphasized that the absence of price tags on products infringes upon consumer rights and violates the Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency law. He pointed out that the lack of transparency prevents consumers from making informed purchasing decisions and asks consumers in the state to report any instances of non-compliance. And to the markets now, foreign exchange trading at the FMDQ exchange closed negative this week as the total turnover of forex transactions carried out fell by 52% week on week to $918.15 million as at April the 5th. The week-on-week decrease in the total turnover was driven by the 23% drop in FX spot turnover and the 98%, about $745 million decrease in FX derivatives turnover. Meanwhile, at the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange fixing, the Naira appreciated by 7.56% to 1,270 Naira against the dollar at the official exchange window, in contrast to 1,367 Naira 1 kobo recorded in the previous week. And the domestic stock market ended the first trading week of April in the red, no thanks to profit-taking on some bellwether stocks. As a result, the market's main index fell by 1.08%, bringing the month and year-to-date performance to 1.1% and 38.3% accordingly, while the total value of listed equities dropped by 622 billion Naira. Notably, significant selling pressure was evident across Tier 1 banking stocks, with FBNH, GTCO, Access Core, and Zenith Bank recording declines. Furthermore, profit-taking activities in MTN Nigeria contributed to the overall market downturn. Despite the overall market decline, activity levels surged, with the total traded volume and value increasing by 104 and 11% week-on-week accordingly, while the sectoral performance was mixed. QTix PLC topped a list of 31 gainers with 22.69% increase, while FBN Holdings led 41 losers, down by 14.21%. while the trio of Abia Mortgage, Tourist Company of Nigeria, and Zenith Bank were the top 3 contributors to a total of 3.68 billion equities traded this week. And for the NSE OTC securities market, its performance ended the week negative as the index fell by 2.15% week to date, while the market's overall value dropped by 1.14%. At the same time, the volume of securities traded this week fell by 97% to 868,000, while value traded was down by 81%, while the number of deals carried out was 55. Top advances for the week are Afriland Properties and Friesland Campina, while the top decliners are Central Securities Clearance System, which also emerged as the most traded security, and Akeredolu Holdings PLC. All right, that's it for me on business. Is that to Victoria now for sports.
Thank you, Ladi. Hello and welcome to Sports News. We begin with the English Premier League, where Arsenal moved to the top of the table as goals from Bukayo Saka, Kai Havertz, and Leonardo Trossard added a gloss to another impressive performance from the Gunners. Manchester City kept up the pressure on their title rivals as Kevin De Bruyne scored his 100th goal for the club in their 4-2 victory at Crystal Palace. Aston Villa salvaged a late point against Brentford in a 6-goal thriller at Villa Park. Bruno Guimaraes scored his 4th goal of the season as Newcastle United defeated Fulham at Craven Cottage. James Ward-Prowse scored direct from a corner to give West Ham United a precious win at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored his 2nd goal to help Everton to a priceless win over fellow strugglers Burnley. Meanwhile, Pep Guardiola has hailed Kevin De Bruyne as one of the best players in the history of Manchester City after the Belgians scored 2 goals in their 4-2 victory at Crystal Palace. De Bruyne cancelled out Jean-Philippe Mateta's early opener before Rico Lewis fired the visitors into the lead less than 2 minutes after halftime. Manchester City then took control with Erling Haaland adding another before De Bruyne struck again in the 70th minute.
And have a good moment, games back, especially when restarting Newcastle and other games, few minutes. And after that was not maybe it's best, but it's normal. But in the important games and have something like make an assist, score 2 goals, make another assist too early in the first half, unbelievable. So having a special, really, really special talent for that.
And Jurgen Klopp has urged Liverpool and Manchester United fans to show a bit of class and refrain from ill chanting when they meet at Old Trafford on Sunday. 2 Manchester United fans were arrested in connection with tragedy chants relating to the 1989 Hillsborough disaster, which led to the death of 97 Liverpool supporters during their 4-3 FA Cup win over the Merseyside club last month. Klopp believes it is imperative everyone shows more dignity and focus on the football. And Ange Postecoglou has admitted that the chance to end Tottenham Hotspur's long trophy drought was the biggest attraction when it came to accepting the job. Postecoglou said he will now focus on football as Tottenham Hotspur, who are currently 5th in the table, face troubled Nottingham Forest on Sunday. 4th place will guarantee entry into the Champions League next season, and the team finishing 5th could also qualify based on the record of Premier League clubs in European competitions this season. And that's it on Sports News. It's back to you, Melinda.
Many thanks, Victoria. On the international scene in Russia, thousands are being evacuated in the southwestern region of the country due to floods made worse by a dam burst in Osk city. Heavy earth-moving machinery has been moved to the site trying to shore up the dam. Earlier, an emergency was declared across the Orenburg region after water levels in the Ural River rose dangerously because of melting ice. Officials say 10,000 residents may be in the flooding zone and up to 4,000 houses could be swept away by the floods. Ahead of the 30th anniversary of the Rwandan genocide tomorrow, the president of Czech believes humanity is very resistant to learning from their own mistakes. He said this during a visit to his Rwandan counterpart, President Paul Kagame, in the capital Kigali ahead of the remembrance. His remark was echoed by President Kagame, who maintained that time and again, countries have continued to experience destruction and loss of lives as the rest of the world watches.
It seems that humanity is very resistant to learning the lessons from their own mistakes. But at the same time, what I see as a progress is growing understanding among a number of nations around the world, quite often of a different opinion on specific issues, but being united in major principles. We have seen that during the last couple of UN General Assemblies, where countries from Latin America, Africa, Asia, Europe agreed on some principles, and this is encouraging. We should seek like-minded partners wherever they are, and try to achieve significant weight to come up with sufficient counterbalance against the big actors if they make mistakes. And I think here we come to an understanding that aggression against sovereign countries should always be condemned.
Mistakes were learned. There are situations where you look back and say, no, but this problem could have been prevented or could have been stopped immediately it started. If only there was the will to look at things, looking at the root causes and then fixing that. So there is always an interplay with interest, with different distorted views that only add fuel to the fire rather than actually reining in what you have to bring to an end and just doing that. So this is my observation over the last 30 years and given our own experience.
And the main news again. The candidate of the NNPP in the 2023...
Abuja's budget has been unveiled. 1.28 trillion naira. The FCT Minister, Mr. Nyesom Wike, says the withdrawal of the FCT from the Treasury single